Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast. I am your girl, Divina, and I am so grateful you decided to tune into this week's episode of the Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast. Before we get into tonight's episode, I'm getting better at these announcements. So just a reminder that I am taking new clients for confidence life coaching. If you are interested in, getting my services, make sure you DM me on Facebook or Instagram, or you can contact me at coaching@DivinelyCROWN'D.com. Also, make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. Also, make sure you are following Divinely Crowned on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Your girl's getting better with her content if you haven't already seen. So make sure you are following and subscribing and joining the Divinely Crowned Queendom. Also, there are just a few days left until the Safe Net Blue. Oh my gosh, what is it called again? Oh my God, Bloom Under the Moon. Oh my goodness, you guys, I got too much going on. But the Safe Net Bloom Under the Moon event, if you are still interested in coming to that garden party, the tickets will be on sale all the way up until the event starts. You can actually purchase them at the door. So like I have told you guys before, I am actually volunteering for that event. And it is going to be a great time. So I would love to see some of you guys come out and enjoy the festivities and also support a good cause. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my divine guest for tonight. Her name is Shaddai. Miss Shaddai, say hello to the people.
Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be here tonight. You're going to hear a little bit about how I got started with photography, and we'll talk about all things. So It's going to be good.
Yes. So I always like to tell everybody like how I know my divine guest and things like that. And so, hello, Elaine. She said, love your name.
Thank you.
So, with that being said, people, and for those who don't know, but I always like to share that, like how I know my divine guest, like I was going to say. And Shaddai happens to be my god sister. And I always tell people she was named after me, okay? Because my middle name, if you don't know, is actually Shaddai. So it's Divina Shaddai, and we got Shaddai here tonight. So I have always been happy. Like, I'm like, she's like kind of my sweet stuff.
Yes.
So yes, and I know you know, but tell the people what Shaddai actually means.
So it is from the Bible, if you do not know, and it's one of the names of God. So it's derived from El Shaddai, which means God Almighty or God more than enough.
Yes.
That's a testimony right there.
Okay, that's a whole testimony.
It so is.
So yeah, we already got people in the comments said hello, ladies. Miss Sylvia said that, and then we have Medina. She said hello, beautiful ladies. Hello, Medina. Congratulations on your beautiful baby.
You're so sweet.
I love it. So. Oh, also, since you guys are already in the comments, just make sure you're commenting. You know, we like to talk back. So talk to us. We'll talk back.
Yeah.
We love being in the comments. And it is a fun way to interact with this podcast. And Medina said, thank you so much with the heart. All right. So let's get into tonight's conversation.
Let's do it.
So as you know, Divinely Crowned is all about talking about our journey, where we come from, where we're at, and where we're going. So tell me about young Shaddai.
Oh my gosh, there's so much.
Go ahead, man.
We sure do. So a lot of people don't know this about me, but for like a big chunk of my life, I was kind of like all over the place for school. And along the journey in that, I didn't really know who I was. And I always had like this feeling like I don't fit in with these people. And I would try and I was just like, I can't do it. It was like this gross, like, I can't.
Wow.
And even as a little girl, I'm like, I can't do it. And I knew I was different from the time I was like 9 years old. And I'm like, there's just something different. And when you're little, it can come across as like an insecurity problem. And it took me a long time to be like, you know what? It's actually good that the Lord's called me out and he's pulled me out because he's used that to put me in situations that no one else is able to be in but me. And he does that. And it's like, I'm just so glad I'm able to like see it now, because some people don't get to this point where they see it.
Yes. Wow. So first of all, I didn't realize that was, we started off hot.
I'm ready.
Hot, is it hot? What is it? Honest, open, and transparent.
Yes.
Okay. So take me back to 9 and even earlier than that. So like family dynamic, like what was that?
Let's see. So I, you know my fam, obviously, but I grew up in a really strong Christian household. So like they're pretty strict growing up. And if you know them, you know that. Okay. Like anyone who knows, I'm like,
our dads are also best friends. So yes, I know very well.
My parents didn't play, but like I thank them for that though. Cause like, honestly, my life would have been a whole hot disaster without that. And it's like, you don't see it till you're grown because you're young and you're like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And it was always a mess when I tried to do that. But yes, I was a strong family. They love the Lord, taught us that from a young age, which is really important. And they also taught us like, just like another thing with not really fitting in is like being mixed is a whole thing in and of itself. It's like, I went to private schools. I didn't go to public schools, and people look at you different. They think, oh, she's this, she's that. You know, it's like you're too black for the white kids, you're too white for the black kids. You know, if I didn't say that backwards.
I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a lot coming from biracial children.
It's a real thing.
So I can imagine that is definitely a challenge.
It can be, yeah. And my parents were always like, you do not have to be either. Just be who you're supposed to be. And I'm like, a lot of people don't hear that. And that's like healing in a way. Like I've had conversations with adults where it's like, be who you're supposed to be. And you got to figure that out. It comes with time. But
it sure does come with time. And for you to say like, you know, your parents both were like, listen, figure it out. You'll figure out who you are regardless of your ethnicity. And for you to even say like, you know, you come from a strong Christian background, which I do too. So I know my experience. So tell me like, because nowadays I always tell people, listen, I am a Christian. When I have other faith believers here, I'm talking about our journeys. Okay. So tell me like, cause I know nowadays, like there's a lot of different, you know, they talk about like different experiences people have that may not be the greatest from growing up in a faith-based background, but like, tell me like how that kind of was for you growing up.
So going to church was like, you know, when you have to go when you're a kid, you're like, I don't want to go. Because at that point, it was just religion for me. And like, it was a great church and stuff, but I still feel like I didn't fit in with the kids there because I was like the oddball out. But like, there was a great church family we had there, which was like awesome, you know? But not until I got older, I want to say I was probably going into college when it got real for me, because I started going through some serious crap, just like mental health issues and stuff that had to be like taken off my life by Jesus only, right? And I remember just having like this moment where I'm like, what is it? You know, like, why am I doing this? And the Lord really just showed up like through people, through words, through ministers, whatever it was. And he became so real to me that I was just like, okay, it was just like, I stepped into this new level of freedom. And I'm like, okay, I was in such a religious mindset. So people who are religious, it's easy to walk away because you don't know him. But it's like the minute I got like, when I knew Jesus, I was like, what? Like, you know, like he, like, oh my gosh, like I was missing that. And it's something you have to pursue God on your own. And mom and dad can't do it. Pastor can't do it. It's got to be you. And yes, I'm just so grateful for that.
I love.
We go in there.
And yes, we are. And the thing is, like, I'll even be honest, like, it didn't take me till like, I've always loved church. You know, we went to the same church. Church was fun. Like, but it was definitely something that's like, okay, we have to go. Even though we had fun there, it was like, oh, we have to do this. We have to do this. And it isn't until you have like an actual relationship for your own that you realize like, oh, okay.
It's different.
It's different. It's different in some ways it's like, wow, why did they make you feel like this way? Like, and what that was negative, or, oh, dang, okay, I get what they were saying. So it's like really knowing him for yourself. And it's been a beautiful journey, I know personally for me. And it seems like for you to even be able to grow your relationship, because that was something I think I didn't get to know until I was older, is it's not about religion, it's about the relationship.
Yes.
And what that relationship, like you said, mom can't do it, pastors can't do it. What relationship do you have with him on your own?
Right.
So, yes.
Oh, it's some good stuff.
So 9-year-old Shaddai.
Oh my gosh.
So tell me, like, you said you've always kind of felt like the oddball out, but like what, maybe can you elaborate on maybe what that was like for you?
Sure. So okay, around the time I was like 9 years old, I was in like 4th grade. And I was in a Catholic school. My parents had to move me, and I did not want to go to school. I remember I was just like at a point where I was like, I would just sit back and I'm like, it's like almost like that moment, like when, you know, you're a little kid, you're not self-aware. And it's like, I became self-aware at 9 and I was like, what is going on? You know, I had like that moment. And I was like, all these little girls were like, I go to tennis club and I do this. And I'm like, I play in my backyard. Like, you know, like I didn't have anything in common with these girls. And they grew up in like these nice, big, fancy neighborhoods. I didn't have that. You know, like my parents loved us and we had everything we needed. But like the other stuff, I was like, I can't relate, you know? So I think I kind of felt like I don't have what they have in a way. So I ended up like leaving because I had like a really hard year when I was at St. Peter's, actually. So I left there.
They're not even, that's Mother Teresa now.
They're not even there anymore. I'm sure it's probably a whole different thing, but it's just
very, very diverse now. I'll tell you.
Good.
It's very diverse.
I was like the only one. Like a little chocolate drop. That's it.
Yes, there's a lot of chocolate.
Good. That makes me happy. That's awesome. That's awesome. That was another thing too, is like you're on like a bunch of like just white kids. You know, it's like it was just weird, you know? In a way. But ended up leaving St. Peter's because I was just failing, miserable. Ended up going into homeschool for about like because you need to during my homeschool days.
I did. Dang, because I feel like was I doing daycare? Oh my God, I'm old. Daycare. Yes, I worked for her mom doing daycare. So yeah, I definitely remember that.
Oh yeah, geez, that was like forever ago. Holy crap. So homeschool days, and that was horrible. Because I was just like in the midst of that, you know, like your awkward like middle school phase, but it was all like online. I was like such a social person, so I was like, I can't do this. Like I had to be behind a laptop. So it was hard. But a lot of good things did come out of that. Like it did teach me how to like get stuff done and like not be afraid to ask for help when you need it. So I did learn some stuff, which was like really hard at the time. But looking back now, it definitely had some benefits. Then I went right back into high school. You know, I was, or, you know, like private school. So I went to Erie first for a little bit. And there I still was kind of like, you know, feeling my way. And it's like, it's so easy to fall into like the people pleasing stuff. And oh my gosh, it's like, do you ever look back at your old self and you're like, you get mad? Because you're like, why did I let people do that to me? I just let people do all types of stuff. Because again, I was like the only Black kid, a whole bunch of white kids. And I'm like, that's my norm now. And you just kind of have to like blend in. And I had to like, you know, oh yeah, I like that too, but I didn't, you know? And then it's like later on in high school, I was like, I can't do that anymore. And the Lord really started to grow me. I think about like junior, senior, even after senior year. And he's like, took that, like that strong need to like please all the time. And he's like, it's okay if people don't like you. They don't have to like you. And I'm like, okay, that's a word. But, you know,
somebody might need to be set free from that right now. It's okay if people don't like you.
It is okay. Because he was reminding me, he's like, do they put breath in your lungs every day? And I'm like, they don't. But like, so he's like,
put gas in your tank? Okay.
They definitely ain't doing that. Okay. What? No. So it's stuff like that. Like I learned that through that whole, like, you know, figuring out who I am and like literally being the odd one out, you know, and just like feeling that. And even just like, I remember someone told me to my face in a Christian school, they were like, I don't know, Shaddai, you're just too Christian for me. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Because I wasn't doing what these kids are doing. And I'm like, good.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Listen.
Hate me. It's fine, you know?
Hello. You're too Christian.
Isn't that crazy?
That is interesting.
Yes, so, isn't it?
Even like, so do you feel like a lot of it came from you being a mixed race child, that you kind of always felt like you couldn't figure out your way?
I think it could have been like a part of it. Cause like, I guess I never really sat back and thought about it too much, you know? But I think now I'm able to like dissect parts of my childhood and just kind of like look at things. And really, I'm not too sure. I think it probably was. I just wasn't really realizing it. Especially like, you know, like my mom's white and like, you know, being with her family and stuff like that. It's like, it's different. So like family would be different on her side than it would be on my dad's side. And it's like, I had that, like I had both, you know? And then like when I was in like the world doing stuff, it's like, I was just like a big mix of everything, you know? So I was like, I'm not just that. I'm not just this.
I'm all.
Yes, I was all of it. So it was trying to figure stuff out, you know?
And I have one of my other divine guests, Janessa, she kind of talked about her experience of just trying to figure out, because she's mixed race. So she just was like trying to figure out like where she belonged. And it's like you said, like, and sometimes I don't even think like, oh wow, like to me, it's just like, you're you know what I mean? Like her, she's her, but like that growing up and hearing that you guys have been through that. And I have a few other mixed race friends that have said like their struggles as that. I used to always be like, I want my rich baby, curly hair and everything. But like knowing that those experiences are like almost similar to like Black people. Like, and you know, I don't know. I don't want to say anything politically incorrect.
I know where you're going though, so it's like, okay.
But that struggle, you're still trying to find your place and be accepted by different parts of different people. So So you talked about, I want to go back to even the cyber school thing, because
that was rough.
Because since the pandemic though, a lot of kids have kind of transferred back, or like been like their parents like, oh no, we're doing this. So like, tell me, because I don't know, maybe somebody who might watch this, a younger person that's in cyber school now, like what would you tell them maybe to encourage them through that journey?
So if I'm going to encourage someone in homeschool, I'm going to say,
or the parent.
Okay. Let me do the kid first. Okay. If I'm talking to a child, I'm going to say, when you're working, work completely. And then when you're done, just be completely done with your work. Don't try to mix the two. Because I tried to mix the two. It doesn't work very well. So when you're focused, give it all you've got. Ask for help when you need it. And don't be afraid to struggle and figure things out. You'll get it. Just keep pushing. When you need breaks, take them, but come back. And then when you're done with school and done with your work, play and have fun and be free. Be a kid. Because it was hard for me to kind of like separate the two. Because I felt like I was always doing school. And I'd have a little bit of downtime, but not much. Because I felt like I was just overwhelmed in a way. Because my poor mom was like running daycare and then like helping me and my sister do it.
I definitely remember.
Traumatized. Like, poor mom. Like, holy crap, she went through so much.
Listen,
I can't imagine.
I know.
Like, and then parents, be patient with your kids, because I promise they're trying.
Listen.
And make sure, like, get them involved especially if they're social. Get to know your kid. Because I was more social. Like Shara, she's like social-ish, but it's more me.
Yeah, she's definitely more
of like the quiet one. So for her, she's like, that's fun, you know. But me, I'm like, I need people, you know. Yes. So get to know your kids. Get them involved with like social groups, so they can get out, feel normal. There's so many programs out now, so they can have like their morning school online, and then join like a public school or private school for like electives. So they can have some normalcy. Make it as like normal and fun as possible. Don't make them feel like a homeschooler, if you know what I mean. Because that's a whole thing.
Because I remember my mom thought, I think around the time my mom thought of doing it, but I'm glad she did it. We're very social kids, so I don't know. That would have just been a lot. But I even think about even adults right now, because you had talked about like, you know, finding that balance of like, do your work. And then your play, because now a lot of adults are working from home. I'm a work from home some of the times, and it's like you almost get burnt out because, like you said, you're working. It feels like you're always working. So even for adults out there that are working from home or things like that, just make sure you're finding that balance of work, prioritizing, scheduling, and then also your fun and free time.
You need it. You need your rest. Because your body will make you rest. Like, for real. It's not fun. You need that.
So so high school, so you were in So you went to middle school, you were in cyber school,
Yes.
and then high school.
Mhm.
So what'd you have going on in high school?
In high school, I was busy because I was like homeschooled from 5th grade all the way up into 8th. So I was like, freedom.
Yeah.
I was like so ready, like people everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, this is great, you know? So I did plays. I did like every sport they offered. Soccer, basketball, volleyball. Oh my gosh, I think I'm missing stuff.
Oh my goodness.
You name it, I was in it. I was like in student council. I was doing stuff there, you know, making friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, it just was so good for me to like do that.
Yeah.
I remember it was like 8th grade year and I begged my parents. I was like, please let me go to normal school. And they were like, okay, should I? Because I was like almost flunked out of homeschool.
Oh my God.
Because I'm like,
I'm over the,
it was so much. And I was like, I'm not having the interaction I really needed.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, bring those grades up and then we'll think about it.
She said, all right,
when I tell you honor roll, okay, I brought that up so quick. I was like, that was motivation I needed to get going.
Clearly,
you know?
You had it in you. Just
slacking. No, don't be like that, guys. Okay, don't do that. That was bad.
Don't be like middle school Shaddai.
No, she was low crazy. But anyway, you move on.
Yeah.
So I was involved in all types of stuff. I just, you know, I'm like that now. I love to do stuff. You know, I'm like meeting new people. I just new experiences. Like it's just invigorating for me. Yeah. So by the time I got to like senior year, I was like stressed beyond all max because I'm like trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. You know, that crisis everyone goes through. And then we started like touring schools and everything. So by the time I graduated, I started doing some tours of school and my dad and my grandmother both went to Edinburgh. Okay. So in my head, I don't know what I was going to do, but I was like, I'm going to go far away. Like, not like I had anything to run from. I was just like, everyone has it. I'm going to go do what I want to do and just whatever.
Yeah.
Be in debt, you know? I don't know.
And not have to answer to anybody.
Right. Yeah. That's what it is. So I wanted that. And I remember like, this is so crazy. Cause like at this point, like I was getting closer with the Lord, not really like hearing him completely. But I remember I would like literally, we drove to like, I remember like Kent State, for example, we get out of the car. I literally stepped foot on campus and I'm like, this isn't it. My dad's like, you didn't even tour it yet. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm like,
I knew in my spirit. Okay.
I'm like, I just felt it. I'm like, I knew it wasn't it.
Yeah.
And because in the back of my head, I was like, I do not want to go to Edinburgh. Because I was like, I want to go as far away as possible. Edinburgh's not it.
I don't want to be one of them.
You know, and
fighting style.
You know, and then
I
bam.
went to Edinburgh a little bit. Say that.
Oh my God. You know, you end up going where you need to go. So, and then a couple more schools we toured. I'm like, it's nice, but it's not me. And I just felt it. Like it just didn't feel right. We literally go to Edinburgh as the last school. Cause I'm like, fine, I'll just go.
God.
Literally get there. And I'm like, this is it. It's what I was supposed to do. I just knew. And then applied, you know, boom. Next thing you know, I'm in Edinburgh. It's crazy.
It's almost like, so that's a whole like word right there. Like you're running from what you're really supposed to be called to be doing.
I was trying to be Jonah or something. I don't know. Like, where was I going to go? Like, I don't know.
You're going to go right where God's like, all right, go ahead. Listen, with your parents' gas money for you to be idiot.
Right.
Yeah. So what did you go to school for?
So I originally started for business administration. Okay. And I had a minor in photography because I was like, I loved photography. Like I kind of, I didn't mention this, but I fell into that in high school too. Okay. I got introduced as like a little side, like elective class. It's like a blow off for me. And I fell in love with it. Yeah. Bought my little point and shoot camera for like $60, worked my butt off. And that's where it started. But I ended up really just like falling in love with it. But I was scared to pursue it as a career. Because I was like, I don't want to be a broke artist. And I just didn't really like have the confidence to pursue it. And I was like, I'm not good. You know, at that point, I was like, I can't compete with anybody. So I shied away because I was scared.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like, my dad's in business and he was like, just try it, you know, because he's always like, both my parents are teaching me all the entrepreneurial stuff, which I'm like so thankful for.
Yes. Because
that's a blessing.
Yes,
you know?
it is. Entrepreneur parents, so then when you do
it's such a blessing.
Are able to have, you like go after your dreams, they're more understanding.
Yes.
I know that's sometimes tough for families to get behind when they don't know.
Right. It's like scary for them.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, every good parent wants to see their kids succeed, obviously. So anyway, he was like, just like try it, see how you like it. And I'm like, all right. It was miserable. Oh my gosh.
Photography?
No, I'm sorry. Business.
Okay.
No, photography. No. No. I'm sorry.
What?
No.
I have Marie real quick. She said, hey ladies. Hi, Marie.
Hello. Sorry.
You're okay?
Yes, I was in business administration for about like I think almost 2 years. Hated it. I was like really scared. I was like, okay, so I'm either gonna like figure something out here just like push through with business school, or I'm just gonna like, I don't know, like I wasn't gonna drop out, wasn't an option. So anyway, I decided to take the jump, switch to photography, and I absolutely fell in love. It was just like, I'm like, that's where I'm supposed to be. That moment again, where I was like, this is it. So I ended up doing all my schooling there. I stayed over a little bit because I did switch, but had so many cool experiences. Oh my gosh, I learned like film, all types of stuff. And it really just gave me like a deeper love for it. And then I was like, I think I can actually do this. And I started trying stuff out, you know, like I had everything at my fingertips at that point. So it was such a good point for me to like just play around, have fun. Like no one saw half the photos I took, but I really grew in college, like with photography, growing my confidence, and like there's something different here and I'm going to chase it. So
I love it.
It was awesome.
That when you talk about like even switching, so do you feel like photography is your purpose?
Oh gosh, that's such a deep question.
And I would say asking that because like right now, I think with growing and like I put out so many videos about just the coaching and my coaching and just how it's like, wow, like I'm really walking my purpose. Like I feel it. And so like when you were talking about like how once you switch to what you kind of really want to do in first place, it's like it just felt so right. So it seems like it was your purpose, but go ahead.
I would say it's definitely like part of it.
Okay.
I would say it's like a bigger, I don't know the full picture yet, but I would say it's definitely a big chunk.
Okay.
And it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. I know that. Just because like through photography, I've had so many opportunities come my way. I mean, like it's crazy. Like I graduated Edinburgh 2020. Okay. And I'm not even kidding. Probably like 3 months after I graduate, I get into the Erie Art Museum.
Wow.
And I'm like having like a exhibit with one of my professors. And I'm like, what?
I don't think I knew that.
Crazy.
Dang. That's awesome. Because I know sometimes it's a very challenging thing to get into there.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me like I've never gotten in. And I'm just like, what? I'm like about to bawl my eyes out. But that's like a big moment.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, that was so exciting. But because I remember like thinking like when I was in school, I was like, they don't really teach us to kind of pursue our own thing. And I'm like, in the arts, they kind of want you like, okay, work for a company. You got to be under somebody. And I'm like, I don't want to be under anybody though. Like I'm going to do my own thing. And go where I'm supposed to go. And that's something I had to learn and do a lot of studying and asking questions and stuff to get where I am. So it's all kind of like, it's
so
steps.
Beautiful. So tell me like, so photography, you did say it's something that you got into high school, first in high school, like what kind of drew you to photography?
So I think what I really enjoyed was that I finally was able to just like capture stuff in a way that like I saw and didn't really have to explain it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way I can put it. Because like when you're like the oddball out, it's like no one really gets it. But I like when I picked up the camera, I was like, I'm just so free in a new way, if that makes sense. Like it's just like a new part of my mind opened up and I just came alive in a new way.
Wow.
So I was able to like,
I know. I'm like, dang,
I know. And it's like, that's the best way I can explain it though. And like, that's that deep love and connection for it. It's just like, I really like at that point in my life, it just really unlocked something in me. And at the time I was, oh my gosh, probably like 16 years old. I had no clue I was going to be a photographer. It was like, oh, I had like a bunch of hard classes. I'm like, let me just do photography for the heck of it, you know? I fell in love. But I think I just really enjoyed that. Like I can be weird and it's okay, you know? And like, it's, you know? And like, it's a way for me to express that. And like, it's just freeing. Like you don't have to explain your art in that sense, you know?
For sure. Because I've learned to love art a lot more as I got older. And actually my sisters are the ones kind of like, oh, go to the gallery nights and things. I'm like, I actually really love art. I've always been intrigued by photography and photographers and how you said like, you know, you can capture things in your own way, but then like looking at them, like for the person looking, it's like, wow, like I wonder what made them look at that and say like, oh, this is beautiful. And then we look at it, it's like, wow, this is beautiful. So, and for you to say like, you know, that's kind of how you were like able to express being able to be yourself almost is through photography. And I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to express. Because for me, I know like I've learned to express and become more confident and find myself through fashion, which I know you're fashionable too.
I'm learning from you, girl. Okay.
Listen, Well, you're doing well, honey.
Thank you.
But yeah, so like just the art is almost like a very big way of expressing yourself. So
Yeah.
and photography is definitely art. So do you feel like that kind of helped you? I know that, you know, you're in high school, but do you feel like photography kind of helped you to gain confidence in yourself, or did it take some time even after that?
So I think it was like the intro to it, because I had a lot of stuff I had to work through. I mean, like a lot of stuff that like the Lord had to do a lot of healing in me with stuff I didn't even know was there really. And just like bad relationships, you know, all that garbage we go through. So I think it was like the entryway into that. Because I remember like we had to, you know, like take pictures and present them to the class. I was terrified. I was like, I don't want them seeing my stuff. That was personal to me. And like, I was nervous.
Wow.
But I remember people were like, that's actually really cool. And I was like, wait, you like that? You know, I'm just like, I didn't think about it that way, because in my mind, I'm like, it's horrible, it's garbage. I did it for fun. And that's where it started. But I think that was kind of like something switched. And I was like, wait, like there's actually something in this. And then I had like the idea in the back of my head, like maybe I could do it as like a part-time thing or just for fun, you know? So I think it was definitely like the entryway, a lot more growth and confidence happened in college, I think. But like in that class, I think was definitely like the beginning of it. So.
Oh, so take me through college.
Oh my gosh. So I met
I mean,
you know, there's some good stuff that happened in college. Okay. Number one, I graduated. So thank God. Man. I was like the Zoom graduate. So that was a whole thing.
Oh yeah.
It was that time, 2020.
Dang. Oh yeah.
That was a rough.
We need to rewind and give you guys an actual, but yeah.
You know, it's okay. It is.
Listen, just give me my degree.
Right. Like I'm good. So, oh my gosh, I was involved with Chi Alpha. They are like I'm sure you've heard of them, but they're involved with like Erie First. But they're the Edinburgh's college ministry group. So I was involved with them. When I started, it was like really important that like I have a good group, you know, because it's like there's so much going on. So I got involved with Chi Alpha, which is great. I became a leader on the team there, and really just build relationships that way. Ended up going to Nicaragua on a missions trip, which was like incredible.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing.
Well, you can tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, let's talk about it. Oh my gosh. So we ended up taking a team over. Oh my gosh, probably like maybe 5 years ago now about that. Anyway, so we go over to some of the poorest areas in Nicaragua. And when we're there, we're literally like, for example, one of the days we were there, we went to a garbage dump, like it's just miles of just trash. And it's like disgusting. It stinks. And like, you wouldn't want to be there. And we went there to help people pick trash they can sell for money.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, literally, like you step here and it's like everywhere we went, I was like about to bawl my eyes out because I'm like, this is someone's life. Like, this isn't like something cute for Instagram. Like, this is literally someone's life. Like, you know, like we were really in there with people and just seeing like how they have literally nothing, but they were so kind and offered you anything. And I'm just like, what?
Oh,
like,
my goodness.
what
That's
do
like
they
a
have?
Culture shock, probably.
It was such a shock. And we were like helping this one old man like find like cans so we could sell. He was like crying, thanking us. And then we're just like, oh my God, like it's the least we could do, you know? But that was just like livelihood. And that was one of the things we did. And then we would invite people to church and hold services and lead people to the Lord and watch them just like walk into that and just keep them connected so they were fed and like clothed because these people had like nothing. So then one of the days we actually had like a couple of days we had kids camp. Now this was crazy because I didn't expect to be like this close with children. We had like I think 3 days with them.
Oh wow.
And the bonds you grew with these children is like you knew them their entire lives. And it blew my mind because I'm just thinking like, why would they bond so close with a stranger? The language barrier and everything. But they knew that they were loved and they felt that.
Oh my God.
Right? It makes you want to cry. Like, I mean, like these children would come with like some with no shoes, holes, like the clothes, they'd had the clothes on, like that was all they had, you know? And like you knew that these children didn't have anything, but they came there and everybody be a kid, have fun, be fed. And I was like, with my broken Spanish, I was like connecting with some of these little girls and just like talking with them. And it was just like, I grew such a strong love for them. I'm just like, what? And
like,
you don't
I'm moving to Nicaragua.
You know, like, oh my gosh. It was just.
I had a friend, I had my last guest. She was living, oh my gosh, don't get me quoting where she moved, but she was there she moved out of the country and was teaching abroad for a few years. So,
I love that so much. That like changes your life when you experience that.
So that's what I was gonna say. Like, what did that? How did that experience being there kind of maybe change you, or like what did you go through mentally, emotionally after being there?
So when it was a lot. And I still like, it's very much with me to this day because it's stuff that you just don't ever forget. But number one, like when we had to leave, like we were just like bawling our eyes out and these girls had to leave and go back to their homes. I don't know what they had to go back to, like they live in some rough neighborhoods. So these little kids had to go back, may not eat for a week. I don't know. So that was like heartbreaking to see and just like, I may never see them again. I don't know. But then like when I got back to the States, it like, I don't know. I almost was like, just in a shock almost. Like I'm coming back to so much. Like I don't deserve this. Like I remember just like going back to my home because I lived with my parents obviously, but I came back and I was like, I don't deserve any of this. Like I literally have like water I can drink out of my faucet and it just like changed my mind. And like to this day, I'm just overly grateful. And it's just like, cause some people are like, oh yeah, it was cool. And then like back to normal. But like I could never go back to normal after that. Cause I was just like, it was just too deep, but just like an over gratitude for everything. And like, you're not owed anything really, So.
Okay. I know we don't realize how good we have it. And
oh my gosh.
I don't know. Was my mentor, Lori, did she go to that one?
She did not.
No. Okay.
She kind of got involved like afterwards, but she's gone on some trips. I'd love to hear about those.
Yeah. My mentor, I want to have to get her on here because
I love her.
Came back, I think, from another trip. She was in Belgium.
Yeah. I would love to hear about that.
For a month. So my mentor, she is very big on doing missions trips and things like that. And I've heard some stories. So when you said the one about the being in the garbage field, she's told some stories too. And I'm just like, we take a lot for granted. Like
so much.
Yeah. So you were in this ministry and so tell me, I know you were still talking some more about that too. So being in Chi
Alpha.
Yeah.
Yep. So when I was there, I remember I was like, so I had like ended a relationship in high school and it was just like a whole gross, toxic thing. And finally got out of that. So I was like, oh my God, being single is amazing. Like I loved it.
It really ain't no more. I mean, she's married now.
Like, so she can say that.
She can say that, but it really ain't.
I can't. After a while, you're like, okay, let's go.
Listen,
I know.
We're gonna have to talk about that journey too.
Oh my gosh, I can't. You'll meet your king. Okay, don't you worry, girl.
Amen.
Don't you worry.
It's already in the atmosphere.
It's happening. Okay, don't you worry.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So I remember I was like in Chi Alpha and I was just like, so I don't want to, okay. So I love all races of people, I'm a little bit of everything, but my preference, I was never attracted to Caucasian males. Okay. I was like, it's not my thing. So that was majority of who was, on campus there. And I was like, I don't know, like y'all do you, but I'm like, that ain't it for me. Okay. I'm trying to be as like, nice as I'm just saying, like that just wasn't me. That's all I'm saying.
Everybody
that's all I'm saying.
And she knew what she did and did like.
That's just it wasn't that. Okay. So it's okay. So anyway, I was like there and my mom was like, cause I'm just like, okay, Lord, I'm praying, like, I know you have my husband and all that stuff. Like, I know I always prayed about it.
How old were you at this time?
I was oh my gosh. Probably like 20, 21.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Listen, okay. Real side note though, I'll never forget her mom would always say, like, she's like, I used to be like, I'm gonna marry me a chocolate man when I get older. I'll never forget when my godmom, and I'm like,
so funny. And she got her a chocolate man. Okay.
You gotta speak it. Listen, there is power in your words. You gotta speak it over your life.
Claim it. Okay, come on now. I love that story. And she was like a little white girl in the country. And they were like, chocolate. Like nothing wrong with it. But they were just like, okay, like that's cool. It was just random.
Her preference. Okay.
She knew what she wanted. Okay. Like she didn't play that.
That's where her daughter gets it from.
I love it. But she actually taught me, which is so awesome. I'll do the same thing for my kids. But like write what you want in a spouse and like pray and ask the Lord for that.
Yeah.
And she probably told you that if you had these conversations.
She actually, another side note.
Oh yeah.
When I had my daughter, she was the one that really taught me because I didn't know about postpartum.
Oh,
she's the one that prepared me. Like just she's like, Vina, play worship music. Like I had the best labor because of my godmom's like instruction. Like I definitely took. So yeah, she got wisdom. Okay.
Oh yes, she does.
Okay.
I'll have to show her this. She's gonna be like, yes. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yes. Oh, she's great.
Yes.
What was I saying?
So write it down. Sorry.
Yes. Oh no, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm like all these memories of you guys popping up.
I love it. This is like catch up time. I love it. It's great. So yes, write it down. So I did, and I'd only ever like, dated black men, talked to black men, only been like approached by black dudes. So I was like, I'm not gonna marry a white guy. I just like only was like, I'll just marry a black guy. Like that's just what it's gonna be, So I remember I was just like, dang mom, like ain't nobody here. I was like, I'm not really. She was.
Sorry.
I can't with you. I can't with you.
Be quiet.
Oh my God. I can't. It's okay. Don't worry. So she was just like, you know what, maybe you should like look outside of your race. And I was like, I could. I'm like, I could do that. And she's like, you never know. She's like, you could be blocking off because you're so stuck in something. And I was like, okay, mom, that was more of the wisdom. I was like, I hear you on that one. So I'm not even kidding. Out of nowhere comes this fine Puerto Rican man. Okay. Fine man. I would talk about it. So I remember we had like a game night. It was like we were getting ready to go into school. So we're like intro, just like welcoming people in like, hey, cause it's like kids are moving in from out of state. They don't have anybody. We want them to feel welcomed. And I was like, I love that they did that. Cause it really helped a lot of people like freshmen, like all the way across state. They're nervous. So I needed some community. So we met tons of friends that way and it was awesome. So we had like a game night and Manuel came in. And I remember it's so funny because I'd never been like this about a guy before, but I was like, who is that? It was that moment of like,
I want him, right?
I was like, what? It's like not even a joke. Like I'm so serious. And I just like saw him. I'm like, I have to know who this guy is. So I literally was like, I was so freaking awkward because I was like, I really liked him. And I was like, I'm so awkward.
So love at first sight. So you believe that love at first sight?
I do.
I just saw somebody post about that. It was like, do you believe in? I believe it can possibly happen. Clearly.
It happens. If you're like me, it happens. But anyway, we ended up like, I just like saw him in passing and stuff like that. And so it was like a Wednesday night, it was a game night. And then Thursday was like the first service of Chi Alpha. So it was the first night. It was like a big thing. We're inviting all these people. And I was looking for him. I had like friends with me, but I'm like, where is he? I hope he comes. Cause I didn't have his name at this point. So we're like, they had like a moment like introduce yourself, talk to people. Sure. Literally turn around. This man is sitting right behind me. I'm just like, Jesus. I'm like probably being so weird. Introduce ourselves, boom, just connected instantly. And it was just like one of those things where like, and I'll get into this in a second, but I just like knew it's like the same thing with the college. I was just like, there's something so different on this right now. Cause you have dudes trying to talk to you. And I'm just like, yeah, no. I don't fool around. I'm saying bye. Okay.
It's a no for me.
It's like you can't welcome just anything in your life like that. That's another thing.
That's a whole word.
It is a whole word.
You can't welcome just anything into your life.
You can't, ladies, guys alike.
Yes,
you cannot. Like you got to hang on to those boundaries and have like that. I know what I want. I'm not going to move because it's worth it. So yeah, I think I was going to say something else, but sorry. You see the distract. Can you tell?
Yeah, well, because
I got lost.
I'll bring you back. So you were talking about you turned around and you saw it. Yes. So that was where you were.
So we ended up like, I'm sorry. It's like I'm here. I promise. I'm good. So we're all set.
Listen, we real honest, open, transparent conversation.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So anyway, we ended up like talking and stuff. His name is Manuel. He introduced himself as Manny. And I'm like, okay. I go home trying to be some Insta stalker. I'm like all night. I'm like, Manny, Emmanuel. It was like that. And I'm like, what is going on with me? So I'm like, looking this guy up, couldn't find him, right? Oh, there's actually something else I'll bring up in a sec. So anyway, I'm at work the next day and I'm like, Mom, and I'm talking to Mom about him. I'm just like, he was so fun. She's like, oh my God. She's like, that's so cool. And we're like talking and stuff. He literally, I think like later that day, added me on Facebook. And I was like, how did he find me? you know? And this is how, and it's crazy because like, this is why you literally need to wait on who God has for you. Because when you do not, so much stuff happens. And it's like, you might be lonely or like struggling or like, God, I really need somebody. Literally cling to Jesus like there's nothing else. And just keep your eyes on him. He will bring the person you need.
I feel like it's just me and her in the room like now. Like, oh my God. I just no one else watching.
That's how I'm talking to you. Because like, you know, I'm sure people will like enjoy, but you know, it's true though. And like I had like before me and Manny got together, I had a whole season of like having to heal and like be alone. I didn't like being alone. I hated being alone. And it was really hard for me, but I had to grow in that. And then when I got comfortable being alone, I was like, singleness isn't as bad as I thought it was because I fixed my focus. My focus wasn't like I'm missing something. It was like I'm gaining something because I was growing with the Lord, healing what was broken, knowing what I wasn't going to tolerate, all that stuff, you know?
I have Sylvia real quick. She said, I never heard the story of how you feel. I love it.
Sylvia, he's going to be so embarrassed.
You was a little too transparent.
He's going to blush when I show him this.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, she getting all the tea. Okay, this is great.
I can't wait. Listen.
This is great.
This is great because I feel like the dating world is hard, especially as a woman of faith or a man of faith. And I talk to people almost every other day about just the dating scene and how you were saying, like, you know, just cling to Jesus, like cling to him. He already knows who he has for all of us. So
yes, he does. So Manny ended up finding me because I actually forgot to mention this, but I think I was probably like a sophomore in college. I was involved with like another campus ministry called the Potter's House. Okay. And I was in there for like a really short time, but I remember Manny ended up finding me through the Potter's House. So I was there for a little bit, you know, I ended up having to leave because like just schedules, it was conflicts and stuff like that. So I had to leave, but they ended up having my picture posted on their Facebook page and I was tagged in it. Meanwhile, I don't even know Manny at this point. He was going to, he was going to church in Erie, LEC. Okay. So he was there going to church. Someone came up to him with a word. The word was, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. You need to go to the Potter's House. And Manny's like, what is that? He's like, you need to look up the Potter's House. And that's like all he told him. Looks it up, sees me on the cover. That's how he knew who I was. This man knew who I was. And that's how he found me. Isn't that crazy?
Bruh, that's God.
Isn't that crazy?
What?
And he telling me that like later on, I was like, what? That's wild. Because we didn't exchange numbers, no social media.
Listen here, God.
You know?
Real quick, first Elaine said, like Deborah Cox, she said you were standing here. How did you get here, Ella? You know, that's actually one of my favorite songs. I sing it all the time. My kids sing it. How did you get here? And then Elaine said, stop. She said, let me grab my popcorn.
God. Yes, get your popcorn, get your snacks. I love it. I love it.
So somebody gave him a prophetic word and said you need to go to the Potter's House. He looked it up and Shaddai is on the advertisement.
Yep. He literally saw me right there. And there's more. You're not even ready for this. We're like our whole story.
I'm not ready for this. No wonder y'all wedding was so beautiful. Listen, the song you came down to.
It makes me want to cry to this day.
I play it all the time.
Oh, God, dude, it still makes me cry. It's just such a powerful song. It's just like,
if you don't know, it's okay. It's by Maverick City Music. It's called Still Holy. Play the song and you'll understand. You literally probably will cry like every time you listen to it. Because I was like, it was so fun. You know, like the Shazam on your phone?
Yeah.
I was like, listening, I'm like, what's this song?
Let me Shazam that Joan.
The guy's coming down the grass. She had her wedding outside, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will get to that. We will get to that. So anyway, oh yes, I love it. This is me on a normal basis. You gotta like reel me in.
I love it. I got you. Oh, all right, so Manny, Potter's House.
Yes.
Advertisement.
Okay. So anyway, so he adds me and then I'm like freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, it's him. You know, I was like freaking out. And another thing too, I had never before, because I was that girl, like, he's going to message me first. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be like thirsty or whatever, you know? So I was like, this time I'm just like, I don't know. I think I'm going to message him. I just had like this feeling like, just message him. So I did. And I was like, hi. turns out, long story short, we talk about this like years down the line. He was like, I actually prayed to the Lord. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Get ready.
Okay,
yeah, it's coming. I prayed to the Lord that if this is the girl that you want me to be with, have her message me first. And I was like, Manny, you're lying.
I am a sucker for these types of stories, of love stories. Like, I'm just, because God, you got it. Okay?
Yes. Oh my gosh. He went off.
Wow.
For real. Mm-hmm. Like every little thing was so lined up.
Oh.
It was like crazy. And then like we would talk about like our lives. Like we both were single in a time going through stuff, like letting the Lord just heal us and falling in love with the Lord. And we were like listening to the same sermons, literally going through similar things and just like really just in, like very similar seasons until like we had to meet.
Oh my god.
And it was just like obviously the exact time it needed to happen.
Oh my god.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it is. And God can do
anything.
More than, yeah, he literally can.
Yes.
Like, this gives me so much joy. Like, I never knew. I know you guys wrote your vows and you had said things and they're like, thank you for your patience with me, things like that. But like, never knew like this.
The depths of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa!
You get everything tonight, girl. Okay.
Listen, we don't call it the Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast, but nothing. Okay,
you know,
crown conversation.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. Okay, you got more because I want to.
You're like, come on, girl. That can't be it.
Elaine, bring the popcorn.
Love it.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yes. So when we first started like talking and stuff, like we did, it was like such a deep connection there. I was like, oh my gosh, like I really feel like this is the guy.
Yeah.
Because before it's like you get in your head and like you have doubts and stuff. But I remember just like, okay, God, I need you to make this so clear to me if this is the one. Because I was like scared, you know, anyone is.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need you to make this so clear to me. And I knew. And I had like a lot of stuff to work with. And that's why I worked through. And that's why I was like, you know, in the vows, I was like, thank you for being so patient. Because like I was so broken up and I didn't know I was. And that was like the bad part. But it's like when you're with the right person, they're going to like pull that hurt out to bring that healing in there.
Facts. I do believe that because, you know, people, I will say, I have learned that, like, well, people go, well, you got to be like healed before you go into a relationship. Sometimes you don't even know what healing you still need until you get into a relationship with somebody else. Literally, because I'm like, Jesus, you didn't tell me this was going to be like this. Like, even being in the dating world and after being single and stuff like that, and being in a very toxic relationship and then going back out and realizing like, dang girl, you ain't as healed as you thought you were, or dang girl, you need to heal from that and you didn't even realize. So it's like, yeah, you don't know until thank God for you having the right person that was patient with you, because I think
oh my gosh,
a lot of people are not patient with relationships anymore. It's like yes, there's a point where it's like, yeah, no, you don't deserve this, you should walk. But then some people aren't doing the work. Like relationships are work.
It's work.
Healthy relationships.
Yes.
Marriage is work.
Sure is.
Like it's not all Instagram cute. Okay. Like I know that. I'm not in a relationship.
Right.
Like, it's like people give up. So if you're able to have somebody who's like, listen, I'm going through this with you. I see you. And is journeying with you and like, listen, you about to be my wife, so I got to deal with this anyway. Shout out to Manny.
Oh, I can't wait to show him later. It's gonna be great. He literally had to buckle up.
So like quiet.
We're polar opposites. It's unreal. And that's why I was like, I never in my life had even like thought about a Puerto Rican man. And I was like, not bad, you know, like just kind of, I could do this, you know, I could work with this.
I love it.
But we're like polar opposites, but it's like literally, I know you hear this all the time, but literally we're everything that we need. Like he taught me to like, it's okay to like be home and chill and not be on go 24/7. And I'm like, it's okay to get out the house a little bit, you know?
I love that.
And we have to balance that out. And like, it's so beautiful.
Beautiful love story.
I think so.
And you guys, like, I see you, you know, I've seen you at the gym and just seeing you guys look like you're just such best friends.
We
like,
are.
I love it.
And that's the thing is like, it was like that connection. Because in the past with relationships, I would try to convince myself, this is your best friend, Shaddai. It's going to work out. But the connection was never there and I knew it wasn't. But it's like when you're scared and afraid to leave because you don't think you're worth more, you literally convince yourself that like, I have to say it's going to get better. And you know good and well it's not going to get better. You have have to just take that step and leave. The freedom you're going to feel when you leave is crazy.
Yeah.
Like you have to do that. If you know that's not where you're supposed to be, leave.
Yes.
Because you're like hindering stuff.
Listen, you blocking your blessings.
You blocking it.
Listen,
okay.
Dang, should I get us a right tonight? Okay. Listen, God knows what he's doing.
Oh my gosh.
So when you talked about, just like you don't feel like you're worth it, and that kind of was like some of through your life you went through that. So like when do you feel like, I know you talked about like just when your relationship built with the Lord, but like when else, is there anything else that might have stood out to you that helped you to grow in your confidence in who you are and finding yourself?
So I remember when me and Manny first started dating, one of the first things we did was actually go to a prophetic meeting. And that was like our first hangout. And I had like some familiarity, but not much. So I was like, whoa, it was a lot. And a lot of people may not be familiar with it, but people falling on the spirit, like, I was prophesied over and that was so new to me. On top of it, I met his entire family and I was like, oh my God, that was a lot in one day. I'm like, we're crazy, Manny. Who does that?
I love it.
It was like,
that was
boom.
heavy.
It was heavy. I'm like, this is a lot, but obviously it worked out, So I remember like, being in like those meetings and stuff like that. And like, that really also helped me like get even closer with the Lord because there was stuff like broken off of my life. There was one meeting in particular. His name is Apostle Blake Michaud, and he is an amazing man, but he really helped me a lot. I remember I was like terrified. So, Manny actually brought me to this meeting and we went there. And I had like, so a lot, like, I don't want to get like super deep, but, and just keep, cause it's like, it's a lot to explain.
You're good.
So basically, a lot of times people can have things passed down through generations and not know it. And there was some generational stuff that had to be broken off of my life. And when that happened, that was another key moment in my, like, my eyes were open. Like I am free now, like free.
Yeah.
I had like all this anxiety broken off of my life. And that was like such a hindrance for me because like I was scared of everything, and like scared to do this, scared to say that. And it held me back so bad. Wow. And I'm like, if you don't get anything else tonight, get this. You have to let that fear go because you are literally going to be stagnant and nothing good is going to come out of it. And you're going to sit there and be like, just angry with yourself, angry with life because fear has been stealing crap from you. Stop letting it steal. It stole so much for me.
Gosh, I feel like this is the whole my message right here.
Girl. Oh,
wow.
It's like, oh my gosh, there's so much.
First of all, I just put a song on my Fear Is Not My Future. I put that on and everybody's like, that's my song. And it's so true.
Love that song.
Like you got to speak that over your life.
Yes.
And also the fact, what was the other thing that stood out to me that you said? The generational curses that you had to break off that are now going to be broken off for your children.
Yes.
And even your siblings and even your parents. And it's just like you being able to take that step for your family. Oh my God, this is crazy because Esther, I'm in the look, come on, let me know word. I know word. But I was doing Esther fast and reading Esther, how she fasted to set her people free in the Bible. So it's like you were delivered for those people that are like your people. It's just, okay, we must have beautiful church on this podcast.
We can do it if you want to. Okay.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, God is just so good. And like he used Manuel to like introduce me to things that I wasn't super familiar with. And then like teach me how to have a disagreement without cussing. Like I would never do that because I was just like, I don't want to talk to anybody like that, like in a relationship, but like you don't have to scream and yell or degrade or call someone outside of their name. And because I didn't know that because all I knew was toxicity. I didn't know it was toxic. Wow. And that's the part that I was like, so many girls are in that. Wow. You don't realize until you're out of it. That was so toxic.
Can you say that? Oh my gosh. Can you say that? Because I struggle with when people that are on the outside looking in judge people's situations when it comes to that. You said you didn't even know it was toxic when you were in it. There's so many women that don't even realize it's toxic.
They have no clue.
That don't realize that is not okay. And it's like, and it gets me frustrated because I've been through my stuff and like it was hard. I was in a 13-year relationship and I'm telling it more and more, but like I was in it and it was, I should have been let go.
Yeah.
But when you're in it and like people see, and I was like, I would never be in that situation. Sometimes it's your mental state. If you are a person of faith and you don't know Jesus intimately, you don't know how valuable you are. Like there's so many things. And it's like you just said, like that really stuck out to me because there's so many women right now that don't realize it is
they have no clue
and it's not okay and you deserve better and
yes,
you're more valuable. So
yes.
Listen, if somebody's watching this, it's not okay to be in toxicity.
It's not because you're
not
worth
cute.
so much more.
I know that's our culture. Everybody thinks like my toxic trait is, and like that's
it's not like, trendy. So stop.
No, stop.
No.
Break free.
Yes, please. Oh my gosh, because it's like you don't know how much is like held up on you not letting go because you're afraid. Like it's like you're literally eating crumbs and there's a whole table for you.
Come on, word.
You know, I'm like,
gosh, yeah, my girl's
good.
Speaking. I love it.
It's good. It's just like there's so much goodness. And it's like I want to see people set free in that because like I've talked with friends and stuff, and I'm like, huh? But it's like I'm looking from where I'm at because I've been through some stuff. But to them, they're like, oh, it's normal.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa. But it takes someone to step in and be like, hey, shake it up a little bit. That's not it. And they're like, maybe it's not. Yeah, wake up.
Snap out.
You know, and it takes that because it happened to me.
Yeah.
And Manny would like walk me through that stuff. And he was like, yeah, it's not normal. And I'm like, oh, actually, right. Actually, I don't have to yell when I'm upset. It's like you take your breaks and you have your boundaries and you respect each other. But like he really helped me grow in so many areas, like the confidence area. Oh my gosh. He's great.
I love this has been good. This has been good. I have Miss Margaret, Miss Red. She said, together with God is forever.
Yes, Miss Red.
Yes. So, oh my goodness. So, yes, this has been just great. We've been on here for an hour.
It didn't even feel like an hour.
Listen, I love it. I love it so much. So, after college, you graduate with your degree in photography.
Yep.
You have a business. So
yes, I sure do.
Tell me about your photography.
Yes.
I've been like making sure I tag you more. I'm like, listen, we got to make sure people know Shaddai is out here.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
All right. So my business is Photos by Di. And I founded that in 2019.
Okay.
So I remember I was just like, I originally had a photography account. It was called like, oh my gosh, like in his image photography, but it wasn't me. And I remember I got locked out of that account and I was like, dang it. I like couldn't figure it out for some reason.
Like, close the door.
Literally he closed it for me.
Yes.
Okay. And he was like, pursue what you want to pursue. And he was like, shoot what you love. And that's what he was telling me because I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Literally just started like taking random, like I literally started doing stuff on my phone, like on my Instagram account that I have now. It was like on my phone.
Yeah.
And I was just like doing what I loved. And I just kind of like grew in that.
Yeah.
And then like would try new things and like do this and do that and end up meeting people, building connections. But I absolutely love what I do. I do all types of work. Oh my gosh. Like my favorite is like, I love working with couples. I love that. Couples, I do families, elopements, graduations, seniors. I love people.
Yes.
So like, I don't limit myself.
Okay.
So I'm just like, I want to get it all, you know,
she want to do it all.
I want to do it.
You with her eventually one day. I keep telling her. I have a few different friends. I'm like, okay, I gotta spread the love.
Yes, we got time. You let me know.
We're gonna shoot for sure.
Oh my gosh.
I love me a good photo shoot.
You know, it's something about it. Okay.
It is. Listen, I love it.
Because I tell people, I'm like, you need at least one good headshot.
You do.
Because like people have
like 10.
You know, it's like you know, it's fun.
I'm like, so these are my headshots. Pick the one you want for your advertisement because I ain't picking. Like I
love it. Good.
Yes. So are you in the studio?
Yes, I was actually just going to mention that. So I'm actually on state. It's 1505. It's a Paca building. So it's called Wild. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Wild Creative Studio. So we are up on the 4th floor. And I share it with my friend Erica, and we just like kind of split the place. Split the place up. But it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so homey and comforting there. And like when I walk in, it's just like, it just feels so like refreshing to be in there. We get the best window light.
Yeah,
it's like, I love it. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Listen, that's great for a photographer.
You know, but we love it up there. there. So we also rent to like photographers as well, so they can come in. Because like,
that's good to know.
That was a big thing for us. Because like wintertime, I had nowhere to go when I didn't have a studio. So we're like, we got together and things lined up. The Lord was in that as well. Lined all that up. And we're like, okay, guys, so we got a space for you, and we're always changing stuff up because like there's such a need for that here.
Yes, there is.
It's like, such a big need.
Content like spaces. And I've seen your pictures. You guys have a lot of different nice.
We made it work in there. Yes. And I love it.
I'm gonna have to come visit.
Yes, you are.
Definitely do a shoot. So
yes.
But so okay. Well, that's good to know for photographers that are out there that are looking for spaces for shoots. Like I put her information in the show notes so you can link up with her when you get a chance. Okay.
Thank you.
So I wanted to go back real quick to even like the name change. When you said you changed your name from his what was it?
It was in his image photography. That was my handle.
So now what do you
Photos by Di.
Okay.
Yep.
So I have a maybe a personal question because do you feel like you made that name because of being a Christian and you're like wanted to make sure? Okay. And yes. Okay.
And so like honestly, I think I might have made this account I might have made it when I was in high school. So at that point I was still like, in the religion. So I'm pretty sure that I think I made it in high school. Okay. So it was just like it was just it was gone. It had to go.
No, and the reason why I asked it, because there's been times where I struggle. I've had struggles even now, full transparency, and I've had to call like my best friend who's a Christian, okay, like I know I'm a woman of God, like I'm a Christian stuff, but like my brand, like how much of it am I supposed to be like always making shit? But it's like I am who I am, and people know who I am. I show the love of God through my work, so it's not like I have to be like everything, like you know what I mean? Like everything is like religious, instead of just being who God called me to be. And through my journey, through my business, through the connections, and through the impact, that's where people will see Jesus and see God through me. So it's like that, but that because I feel like maybe, and I don't know where this comes from. Maybe it is religion. Like, oh, you got to make sure you like highlight that your business is about God. Like it's
I know exactly what you mean. And it's like you almost feel like a pressure to do that. And I was like, I had like a moment where I was like, okay, so number one, if you have a relationship with him, no matter what, he's going to be in it. You invite him in it. And I was like, it's so important that he's in it with me. And then I'm like with people and they see that. Like I literally have been in situations I have not said a word. I wasn't like, I'm a Christian. Hi. I never said anything. But they would literally be like, there's something so different. And they would come up and they want to know. And I'm like, oh, let's talk, But it's like when you walk with him, people see it. And they know there's something different on you and they can see.
Yeah, my client just said that to me yesterday because I was like, one of my clients, she's like, through working with me, and it's not like I'm like sitting here like, so about you, but just talking, she knows my faith and she's now open to it. But she's like, Davina, you just have a spirit. It's just your spirit. Like even when you don't want to be like you can be out in the club. It's just your spirit.
They look at something different on that girl.
It's okay. There is something different.
Yes.
That actually reminds me of Michelle from Destiny's Child. She was on a podcast and she's like, there would be people like I was in Destiny's Child and there'd be people like me out of the three, like, you ain't supposed to be here. Like, you don't belong here. Like, even though she's like, I'm in this group and everything, but she's like, everybody was always like, there's something different. I'm like, I can relate. Yes. But so I love being able to talk about that because I was like, oh, that kind of brings up something for me. So
that's a whole thing. It really is.
It is. So I always like to ask a few questions to all my divine guests. And the first one kind of really, both of them actually are going to be pretty interesting to hear your take. But, Divinely Crowned's all about confidence and self-love. And with your journey of finding your confidence, like, what would you say, what does confidence look like to you?
That's a good one. I love deep questions.
Me too, girl.
They're so good. They just pull stuff out, Pull it out. We want it. Okay. So you said, what does
confidence look like to you?
What does confidence look like to me? To me, let's see. I would say confidence looks like being everything that you're supposed to be in the sense of like this unashamed like this unashamedness about you to be who you're supposed to be. People can like laugh. And it's like, you're just kind of like in this zone, just you and the Lord, you know, and it's like, you own everything that he's made you to be and you embrace who he says you are.
Yeah,
and that's really the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is who you say I am, and I'm going to walk in that, you know, instead of like, and be careful who you're listening to. That's another big thing. Cause you can, and then also like, don't talk down to yourself.
No, for sure.
You know, that's a big thing too, is like, speak life over yourself. It's so important what you say. It's so important. Like, people do this all the time. They don't even realize it. It's another toxic thing they don't realize, and they're going to be called out and they're like, oh crap. Okay. Yeah. But it's like, if you look in the mirror, oh, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're never going to do anything. You suck. Like, I've talked to myself like that. And the Lord was like, you got to stop talking to yourself like that. Don't talk to my daughter like that. Right.
I just told a friend, I'm like, listen, God's like, you better stop talking about my child like that. Yes.
And it's serious. Cause then it's like, there's stuff that needs to be healed there, maybe from childhood, whatever it is. But it's like being exactly who you're supposed to be and not being ashamed about it.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's really it.
I think that's a great insight on what confidence. And I used to be like, oh, what does confidence look like? But it's like, no, to you, because I think confidence, well, no, I know, especially working with my clients, confidence is different for everybody.
It is.
And it's not just always about your appearance.
Like, no,
I'll be honest, I used to think it's just about your appearance, and still I started healing and growing. And
yes.
Like, no, confidence is deeper. It's like all the level,
and it comes out.
Layers. Yes. So many, yes. And as you heal, it comes out even more.
Yes, it does.
So speaking of healing, before I go into my next question, I know you had said like you had mental battles and things like that. So like, I always like to talk about, I'm very big on mental health and therapy and things like that. So is that something that you maybe did when you were going through your struggles?
I actually did not go to therapy. Okay. And honestly, I probably should have where I was in high school. I didn't. It's like, honestly, I never really talked to anybody about it. I just like was kind of hidden because I didn't think there's anything wrong with being as anxious as I was. And it was so bad. It was so bad. Yeah. And I didn't realize that. And I just like was stressed all the time and just like didn't give myself time to ever like be just still. I felt like I always had to be doing something and just kept myself in the state of like busyness. So I really think a lot of it just came with me. Just like, I really just focused on the Lord in it. Like I really did. Shoot, I mean, like that's all I had, you know?
And that's good. Yeah. And I always tell people like, I believe in Jesus and therapy. Okay.
Yes. There's nothing wrong with therapy at all.
Set free from the things you're going through just growing your relationship. I think that's a powerful and beautiful thing as well. Because at the end of the day, for our belief is that's who the ultimate healer is. So I think that's a beautiful thing for you to be able to.
There's like two parts, because it's like the Lord can heal you, but then you have to like unlearn certain mindsets. So I had to do a lot of unlearning, and I had to learn that peace is normal because I didn't think it was. I wasn't used to it. Like peace was weird to me. I was like, what does it mean to be still? Like, I didn't know what that meant. So I did do practical things though. I started taking care of myself. I started doing things that would like help me feel good, right? Like I would go for walks, I would eat well, I would read books. And if there was social media stuff that was getting in my head, I blocked it, deleted it, got it out of my way. I had to.
I love this.
This is so good.
This is so good.
It's that you do what you gotta do, you know? It's like, get where you gotta be. So it's like, if someone messages you about it, like big deal. You do what you gotta do. There's a bigger picture here, you know?
Sure.
It's like,
no, and I love you just said you had to learn what pieces. And I think a lot of people actually, I've talked to so many people that have to learn or don't even know what that looks like.
They don't
even know what happiness looks like.
I know.
And it's like, you really have to learn to sit and figure that out. You have to sit and be still. Because if you're not still, you're never going to figure out what it is. You know? So
it's easy to run.
Yes. It's very easy to run and keep running and being out of breath and still trying to run. So this has been so good.
Oh, I agree.
The other question I always ask with this journey you've had, and I know we probably could even got deeper, but like, what is that? Let's talk about what you would say to that younger Shaddai at this, where you're at now, a married woman, a business owner, been set free from a lot of things. What would you tell young Shaddai?
Oh my goodness. This is another good question. This one like makes me want to cry because I'm like,
let me get I don't have people cry. I don't got no
oh my gosh. No, I'll keep it together. I'll keep it together. Okay.
Deep breath.
So, oh my gosh, I would tell younger Shaddai, keep going. Don't be distracted and don't give up. And oh my God, there's like so much, because there's like so many areas in my life I was like lost,
You might have to journal about this tonight.
Yeah, for real. Because I'm like, dang, what is she gonna be thinking about my life now? Like it's crazy, but it's good. Really just like stay focused. And like, I think like the number one thing would be, don't apologize for being yourself. That was like such a big problem when I was younger. And then let the fear go. Those two things were just, it was like, you're like insecure. You don't know yourself. So I think that was probably like, they'll be the two things.
That's good. I think that's good. Listen, and then you're going to go write the other stuff in your journal. No.
I could be here for another hour. Okay, like I was a mess. Okay.
Miss Red, she said, keep your eye on God.
Yes. Always.
So I always like to say, leave the royal mic or the throne for anything you feel like you wish I would have asked you, or anything. So what do you have anything to say? The royal mic is yours. One day I'm gonna have like royal mics or
like a little like
crowns.
That'd be, or like a purple.
Yes.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Oh my gosh.
Listen, she can talk. So listen up, y'all. Don't play.
I can talk because I can keep you up for like. It's like a duo. Okay.
Listen, it's the Shaddai thing.
Something about this. I don't know. It's great. Like, oh my Lord. You covered so much. Like, honestly, you're asking stuff. I was like, I didn't even think about that.
Listen,
you killed it though.
Thank you.
You covered it. So I think you I don't know. You did amazing.
Thank you. Well, I always like to give my flowers, and I'm just so proud of you. Like,
thank you.
From God sister, big God sister to young gods. I won't say little. I'll say young. Like, I am so proud of you, and
thank
just
you
watching
so
your journey of just becoming this woman that glows and is just out here doing amazing things. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I pray that great things continue to happen, which I know they will.
You.
And I thank you for telling your journey. Like, I know somebody gonna be set free.
Amen.
We just had a whole church service.
Yes, we did.
Like in an hour and a half. Like, listen, this was good even for me. Like, I definitely, there was a lot of things you said. I'm like, okay, God, I hear you talking through.
Good. Good. Yes, that makes me happy.
Yes.
Good.
This was great.
Yes, it was. Great. Oh my gosh, this is so fun.
Yes. So, well, thank you. Nothing. If you don't have anything else, we're going to wrap it up.
All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in, tapping in, commenting. Like, this has been another divine and amazing conversation. And I am just so grateful that you guys continue to connect and tap into these conversations. They are getting better and better. And pretty soon, y'all, I'm about to start having some kings on here. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to go about doing it. But all the kings like, so do you interview guys? I'm like, maybe we're going to highlight y'all a little bit. Okay. So that's coming eventually here. And just, I'm just, like I said, grateful. Actually, this is episode 31.
Wow.
Yes. So season 2, episode 31.
Good for
yes.
You.
So yes, so we're on a roll,
happy.
And I'm just grateful for everybody, like I said, that continues to tune in and be on this journey with me. And yes, so make sure you check out Shaddai. I linked her Instagram so you can check out her pictures. If you're a photographer and need space, she got you. The girl got you. And if you need pictures, she is all about that. So, until next time, remember, you are divinely crowned.